Tate's downfall in Emmerdale now seems almost certain, and it could unfold sooner than expected. In a recent episode, 3 figures were shown secretly plotting against him, carefully working out how to take him down. Friday's installment hinted even more strongly at what might happen next and when it could all come to a head. Dawn Taylor has decided she no longer wants a future with her fiancé Joe after discovering the truth about his actions toward Moira Dingle and Victoria Sugden. Despite this, she continues to pretend everything is fine, while secretly assisting Moira and her husband Cain in their plan to strip him of everything he owns. The couple became engaged late last year, and Dawn is now expecting his baby. Not long ago, Dawn learned how Joe had used proof of Victoria being responsible for John Sugden's death to manipulate the family, and that revelation was soon followed by another shock. Moira explained that Joe played a role in framing her, leading to her imprisonment, and that he knowingly allowed her to remain locked up, even though he could have helped secure her release. Although Dawn initially struggled to accept it, she eventually understood that Moira was telling the truth. When Dawn confronted Joe, he denied everything and even swore falsely on her life, which pushed her to her limit. After that, she secretly met with Moira and Cain, and together they began putting their plan into motion. In Friday's episode, Dawn continued the deception but finally took a step forward. Aware that she couldn't keep lying forever and feeling the strain of the scheme, she chose to speed things up. As wedding preparations were being discussed for later in the year, or possibly beyond, Dawn made a sudden decision to move the date much closer. She told Joe that she wanted to bring the wedding forward significantly. Joe was confused by the sudden urgency, but Dawn explained that she wanted to tie the knot before their baby was born. She also added that she hoped to marry before her pregnancy became too noticeable. She insisted it was so she could comfortably wear her dress and fully enjoy the occasion, though in reality it was just a cover story. Her real intention was to justify moving the ceremony much earlier, potentially within just a few months. A remark Moira made to Cain the previous day seemed to support the idea that Joe's downfall was approaching quickly and wouldn't be prolonged. She told him that it looked like Joe Tate would face the consequences of his actions far sooner than they had expected. This sentiment likely mirrors what many viewers have been thinking, as they have long been waiting to see him face justice. It raises the question of whether their scheme is progressing rapidly and could unfold in a matter of weeks or months. It also leaves uncertainty about whether this storyline will mark Dawn's departure, as actress Olivia Bromley prepares to leave the show. Emmerdale spoilers. Cain's surgery looms, and he fears it could cost him everything with Moira. Cain and Moira Dingle have long been considered one of Emmerdale's most unbreakable couples. If a relationship can endure a betrayal as serious as an affair with a family member, it's often seen as able to survive anything. However, coming to terms with difficult realities has never been easy for Cain, and his prostate cancer diagnosis has been especially hard for him to accept. Although surgery is necessary, his anxiety about life after the procedure is making him fear for the future of his marriage. The operation had previously been delayed when Jacob accidentally knocked him down with a car, leaving him too badly hurt to undergo surgery. This setback not only increased the risks to his health, but also gave him more time to dwell on his worries. Moira's return from prison might have been expected to comfort him and help him feel stronger, yet it has had the opposite effect. Instead, Cain has become consumed by the idea that the operation could permanently change their relationship, worrying that Moira might leave if their physical intimacy is affected. Before the scheduled surgery, he finally began to share his fears with Moira. Meanwhile, his close friend Liam offered support, giving Cain someone else to confide in, and during their conversation, Cain admitted he had even considered calling off the procedure entirely. At the same time, Moira opened up to Chas, admitting that their once stable relationship is now under strain, and saying it aloud made the situation feel even more serious. Despite everything they have faced together, Cain ultimately decided to go ahead with the operation. He had an honest and open discussion with Moira about how things might change between them, and she reassured him that whatever challenges lie ahead, they will face them side by side. The question now is whether Cain can truly believe in that promise. It's exhausting. Emmerdale actor admits he's ready for storyline to wrap up. Joshua Richards has spent nearly a year at the heart of one of Emmerdale's darkest storylines. Back in the summer of 2025, his character Beowulf was tricked into going to a remote farm by Ray Walters. Once there, he was locked away in a grim attic and forced to work alongside other vulnerable individuals. As part of the show's attempt to highlight the reality of modern-day slavery, Bear was manipulated and controlled by Ray and Celia Daniels, enduring deeply disturbing conditions that left him severely traumatized. He eventually managed to escape in early 2026 and made his way back to the village. However, when he burst into the tenants, he discovered Ray attempting to murder Paddy Kirk. In a desperate moment, Bear intervened and strangled Ray, killing him. Afterward, Paddy and Dylan Penders tried to keep what had happened a secret, but D.S. Walsh ultimately uncovered the truth. The storyline has been particularly demanding for Joshua, who has received praise for his powerful portrayal of Bear, but admits it hasn't been easy to step away from the role. He explained that the work often follows him home, as he has to continue learning lines and preparing for the next day, making it hard to truly switch off. At times, he has found himself wishing the storyline would end, describing it as emotionally draining. When asked if he feels relieved that the plot is nearing its conclusion, Joshua said he is thrilled, even though he has valued the experience. He spoke about the scale of the production, highlighting how many people, from writers and directors to makeup and costume teams, are involved in bringing such a major storyline to life. He added that while it has been an incredible journey for everyone, there is also a shared sense of relief when it finally comes to an end, allowing the cast and crew to move forward. Looking ahead, Paddy, Dylan, and Bear are set to face trial for their actions. If the jury rejects their version of events, Bear could be sentenced to life in prison. Discussing how his character might handle that outcome, Joshua suggested that Bear would likely accept his fate. Having spent much of his life alone and previously worked as a professional wrestler, he believes Bear has developed a resilience that would help him cope behind bars. According to him, Bear wouldn't be intimidated by conflict in prison, as he is used to hardship and capable of defending himself, even at his age. For Bear, it's not about dominance, but about enduring whatever comes his way, something he has done his entire life. Emmerdale airs on weekday evenings on ITV1, with episodes also available to stream earlier on ITVX and YouTube.